Hi, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today's guest is Rasheen Aldridge. He is the representative from the 78th District of the Missouri House of Representatives and also quite an active person here in the St. Louis area. Rasheen Aldridge today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. Today's guest is Rasheen Aldridge. Rasheen, welcome. How you been?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so good to see you. I mean, it's been a long time trying to get you here, but we finally got you, right?
Yes, sir. It's an honor to be on. I'm happy we finally made it happen.
Yeah, you've been very active, man. I can been watching you and seeing what you're doing. You're now the representative from the 78th District of the Missouri House. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. So I represent the 78th District. I was I was appointed the Democratic committee man about a year ago and then had to have a special election because of my predecessor, Bruce Franks, ended up stepping down to some mental health, which made a vacancy, and my committee members picked me, do all the hard work I was doing on the Central Committee because I'm also the 5th Ward committee man. Right. Said, you know what, we think you'll be good to serve up in Jeff City. So I represent the 78th. It's actually a district I grew up in. Once upon a time it was called the 58th, but you know, those things change. It's a very diverse district. It starts, if you want to go far north, almost by the river off of Broadway, we're kind of the pick and pull. And it continues to go south. It takes in Hyde Park area. It takes in St. Louis Place, Old North, Carr Square, Downtown West, Ben Park, Dutchtown. I mean, it goes all the way down the river, Anheuser-Busch, all that area. So it's a very diverse district, and it's been an honor in the last year to serve. And the voters, hopefully on August 4th, since I don't have a challenger, give me 2 more years to serve them and fight for them and be a voice for the voiceless in that district.
So you're up for re-election?
Yes, I am up for re-election August the 4th for the state rep seat and my 5th Ward committee seat. Both
board and 5th Ward committee seat and the 70th District. But tell us, Rasheen, if you had 2 more years, what would you do? What will you do?
Say that again?
What will you do in your next 2 years?
Well, so in my first year, it's really been interesting because with the whole COVID outbreak, we actually had a short session. So I kind of feel like this first year was an opportunity as I finished off Bruce's term to really be able to learn the process. Sure. You know, there's no blueprint to, how to legislate when you get up there, how to draft bills, how to make sure that they get to the floor. You're the super minority up there, issues that are very important to us. And St. Louis, some people in rural Missouri may not be able to understand. So over the next 2 years, I've done a really good job my first year. I served on the budget committee. I've been able to propose 8 pieces of legislation. One of them actually hit the floor as just I kind of call it a red shirt freshman, an interim freshman. Okay. But over the next 2 years, especially with the recent protests, which is nothing new, even if we go back to Ferguson here in Missouri, is nothing new, continue to push back against police brutality, criminal justice reform, trying to make sure being a member of the budget committee that I'm fighting diligently and hard, not just for our taxpayers, but to make sure we bring resources back to the St. Louis area. And since I'm legislating from a state level, make sure we bring resources back, honestly, to our most vulnerable areas all across the state, in the urban areas and in the rural areas. So it's been great to have this first year to learn, but now I'm ready to get my hands even a little bit more dirtier, and get up there and propose legislation that's going to make it better for the 78th District, communities like Carr Square, communities like Hyde Park, and so many other communities that have kind of been left out and been not at the table. Sure.
Also, you had some very aggressive projects to do with the COVID-19 breakout. Tell us what you've done about that.
Yes, so it's been an honor to be state rep, and with that, it gives me access to more resources. And that is, working with state director heads on a day-to-day basis. So, and especially being on the budget committee. So when this pandemic broke out, I was trying to figure out what I can do. At least when I was in Jeff City, I tried to propose $7 million to go to mobile testing units around March, right before the pandemic had got really bad. Yeah. But since then, I've been holding testing sites down in the neighborhood, and it's been particular in North St. Louis. Across the district, there is another Finney on South Broadway, But what we've seen with this COVID-19 outbreak is people of color and the African-American community has been hit the hardest. Not a shocker. We don't have, healthcare facilities in our community. We don't have access to healthcare like others. So I've hosted several opportunities for people to get tested just to check and see if they have the COVID-19 outbreak, to kind of take a little bit of that stress off of them when people are losing jobs and so much and don't know the next move that they're going to be able to make.
How will you address healthcare for your district? They closed Homer G. Phillips Hospital, they closed the county hospital, they closed the city hospitals. And like you just said, the North Side is devastated, especially for healthcare. And the African American community is affected most. So what are your plans for better healthcare in your area?
Yeah, and I appreciate you asking me that question, because it's important. When you look at zip code 62106, which is a zip code that I represent, life expectancy is around 65 years of age. When you look at zip code 62105, which is Clayton, the life expectancy is around 87. And, that's a direct impact on, people's well-being in life. If you're talking about just having grocery stores with quality food, we don't have that. We know my district and Northside is a food desert, but when it comes to healthcare, I have some ideas of legislation. We're trying to take the burden a little bit off of the people, but also fighting to put more money in the budget when it comes to some organizations. And, what we've seen during this pandemic, it's been a lot of great organizations, especially like Urban League, that's been stepping up. And there's been organizations that's been stepping up like Affinia that has been offering people not just testing, but access to insurance, access to healthcare, so that they can take that burden off of them. So putting money back from our state budget directly back into some of these organizations and groups that actually are helping people on the ground, and not just being the lip service, but putting action to the ground, until we are able to figure out how do we get another Homer G. Phillips Hospital north of Delmar, so people don't have to travel as far all the way on Kings Highway or South Grand to Cardinals Glennon to be able to get to the nearest hospital to get some access to healthcare. We know we have clinics and healthcare, small Affinias in our neighborhood, but we need something massive like a children's hospital or a Barnes Hospital directly in North St. Louis. Yeah,
there are no beds. That's the problem.
Yes, sir.
Rasheen, how have you been accepted in Jefferson City since you've been there?
It's been, following the heels of Bruce Franks. Those are some big shoes to fill, and folks know that. Just like Bruce, I'm a protester. But in my first year, it's a different level. You can't go up to Jeff City. We're the super minority, about 48 of us. You can't go up to Jeff City and act in the way a little bit as a protester. Now, I keep those same values and I keep that same fight when I'm up there, but you have to, maneuver a little different. So in this first year, the biggest thing I've been trying to do, which I know is important, is build relationships with people, especially across the aisle. We got to kind of get past this whole divisive, oh, you're a Democrat, Republican, we can't talk, because the reality is if I don't communicate with them, I can't get anything done. But building relationships for them to understand the reason why I've been out in the streets, the reason why I've been advocating for $15, and putting more of a life story with it instead of just images that they see. So it's been a little difficult at first to navigate up there, but I think I made a lot of great colleagues on both sides of the aisle where I'm excited. And even during this moment, as I've been protesting, Republicans have been reaching out to me and saying whatever we can do to help, we want to. So I'm going to hold them accountable and see how do we really create some criminal justice reform when we go back into session in January of 2021.
I know you've, next segment, I wanted to ask you about your activism, how you became into the movement, how you attain all this wonderful knowledge and caring. But right now, that you used to support quite a few activist groups right now, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about some of the groups that you support.
Yeah, so I'm actually one of the leaders of Expect Us. It's several of us. It's not just one leader. That's what's cool about this movement. Yeah. There is many leaders, and a lot of times people is like, where's the Malcolm or where's the Martin? Yeah. We all are those leaders. So I'm part of Expect Us. I've been part of the Fight for 15 group and other Ferguson on the ground groups. I support groups like Respect Us. It's another younger group of Expect Us, and just folks that are taken to the streets. If it's our Black Lives Matter individuals, if it's our Muslim community, if it's our Black trans community, is all important. And I'm trying to make sure I show up in solidarity for everybody so that we can get justice.
This is great. Rasheen Aldridge, the representative from the 70th District, is my guest this morning. And we're at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. Reverend Larry Rice and the New Life Evangelical Center has been doing things for the community for more than 50 years. We want you to continue to support us. And you may through Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri 63166, or online at www.newlifeevangelisticcenter, that's one word, newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. American Express, MasterCard, Visa, Discover Card. Takes less than 2 minutes to make a tax-deductible donation, gift, that is, to New Life Evangelistic Center. Back with Rasheen Aldridge after this.
As year after year, dark clouds of hopelessness might have rolled across the horizon, I thank God for my friend Bernie Hayes, who's continued to have a message of hope, who's continued to address the issues, who's been a bright light in the midst of the darkness. What a blessing it is to know him and to see God's light and love flowing through him. But now you have an opportunity. So many hurting and homeless people are out in our community. Many, many more people are suffering after 1411 Locust was shut down. You can be that bright light if you'll simply call us at 314-421-3002 and get the petitions, circulate them among registered city voters, and help us get 1411 Locust open back up. We need to let God's light and love flow through us. These individuals are hurting at this particular time. Many of them are being brutalized by the system as a whole. They don't have cell phones to record times that they're misused and pushed from place to place by the police. So many of them don't have the smartphone that'll record that and the rest, so they suffer quietly. You can be their voice at this particular moment. You can remember the words of Jesus when he said, as often you've done to the least of these, even so you've done it to me. Will you call 314-421-3020, help circulate these petitions among city voters so we can get the registered voters and get it on the ballot during the next mayoral election in the city of St. Louis. It can happen if the people of God, caring people right now in the darkness and hopelessness so many experience, will be that bright light. In memory of George Floyd and others that have suffered, will you move forth at this particular time? Again, give Mark a call at 314-421-3020. Get the petition, circulate among those that are in need, and know that you're making a big difference for good. Let's offer hope to the hopeless. Let's reach out and offer help to those that feel so helpless at this time. Let's give them a place of refuge that they can come to. Let's reopen 1411 Locust. Let the voters decide. Please get the petition now by calling 314-421-3020 and make a big difference for good.
Welcome back. My guest is Rasheen Aldridge. He's the representative from the 78th District of the Missouri House. And also, he's an activist. You've seen him, you've heard him, and I'm sure that you must know him. Rasheen, welcome back.
Thanks for being back.
Rasheen, how did you come into consciousness? You've been on the front line with the Michael Brown situation in Ferguson. You were confronted by the McCullochs down at the thing when they were protesting to get Mayor Lyda Crewson out. Tell us what inspired you and what motivated you to become an activist?
Yeah, so for me, I'll kind of say it in three things to keep it short and kind of packed into a present. So I always start off very kind of sweet with it. I have a prosthetic on the right side of my leg, so I was coming out kind of butt first, telling the world how I really felt about them. So even at a young age, it was already in me. But I would say, my mom was very active in the community when she used to work with April Ford Griffin. Things that happened in the neighborhood, we were there at the Christmas drives, the Thanksgiving giveaways, the back to school drives. And I think for me, I went to a county school. So I went to Parkway, but I lived in the city. And at an early age, I kind of had these two different lenses of two different realities. I would go out to the county school, spend the night over my white friend's house, Asian friend's house, and see how they lived, being able to walk down the street, have a good time. But when I would be back in my own neighborhood, I feel like an animal in a cage. We didn't have a community center. We didn't have things where we can, just have a good time in our neighborhood. The county grass was greener, air was nicer. It wasn't like that for my own community. So I didn't even know what organizing was. I just knew that I wanted to make a difference. Eventually, once I graduated high school, I thought it was politics, in which, it turned out to be in this moment. But after high school, I started doing a lot of organizing to try to, like I say, make a difference in communities that looked like mine but didn't have the same opportunities. Sure. Got involved with the Fight for 15. When Ferguson happened, took those skills from the Fight for 15 out to Ferguson, thought I was going to try to help organize, and got very angry and started protesting. I was out there every day. And even to now with the George Floyd situation and having given up on trying to push for justice for all, justice and equality to make sure that people are being treated fairly in all systems in this world.
First of all, before we get on, I want to ask you about the confrontations that you've had. But first of all, how can one help you and how can one vote for you? And what help do you need? Do you need donations? Do you need volunteers? Do you need people to post signs out for you? How can they reach you and how can they help you?
Yes, I appreciate you asking me that. So you can reach me on Facebook. It's Rasheen Aldridge. On Twitter, it's Rep Rasheen or Rep Sheen Bean. Also on Instagram, it's Rep_Sheen Bean. But if you go to my Facebook page, which is public to everyone, there's a donation link, or if you inbox me, because that is, even though I don't have an opponent in the August election, I do in the general. But even more importantly, I think it's important to make sure that I get out and engage residents with the opponent without. We got to make sure we get voter participation up. We got some key things on the ballot outside of myself, like Medicaid expansion. So I'm out knocking doors in my district trying to get people to vote for me, but vote for other things on the ballot so we can, make people know that we are excited to get out and vote, that we understand that this is an important election just like every other election. So if you would like to donate or support, like a yard sign, you can inbox me on Facebook and the campaign will get to you and make sure that you get those yard signs or the link to be able to donate to the campaign, even if it's
Spell your
$5.
name. Spell your name for us.
Yes, sir. RASHEEN, last name Aldridge, ALDRIDGE. And even if it's $5, people have donated that. That goes a long way in helping out. So we would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, Rasheen, you are leading or one of the organizers of the protest in the Central West End the other day when these two white people came out, one with an assault rifle and his wife with a handgun, and I assume they pointed them at you also. Tell us about that feeling and tell us the truth about that situation. And
I'm thankful that you're asking about that situation, because what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is one story, one narrative, and a lot of divisive in a way of that couple saying that a mob came through their community and the McCauslands were feared for their life. The same thing we hear when police officers usually kill people of color and try to get away with it.
Sure.
That we were going to come into their homes and kill them and kill his wife and dog and take rooms and eventually burn down his house. So it was complete lies and rhetoric. What really happened was, we were going to Mayor Lyda Crusen's house because she had done some very reckless things by calling out protesters' name and addresses. One was even a minor. And then next day, that Saturday, a KK rally was coming into town. We know that people don't agree with the protest. So by giving out names and addresses, who know what way you could put their life or their family life in danger. So we was going to her house to let her know that we was upset with her. And in the midst of it, we took two routes, one down Waterman and one through that community, which the gate was open, even though it was a private community. It wasn't locked. It wasn't a key code. And as we entered, as soon as we entered the gate, Mr. McCausland yelled at us, "Get out of my community, get out of my community, get out of my community." And then he went to go get his gun, and his wife came out, and they pointed it directly at the protesters as we was out there being peaceful and being nonviolent, trying to get our message across, and made it seem like he was fearful of his life, but reality was he was on one with the gun, pointed at us, which we didn't even know this man. We didn't know any other homes and homeowners on that block. They wasn't our goal. During a protest, do you get uncomfortable? That is the point of a protest, is to be civil disobedient, to make people feel uncomfortable. But we were not there to engage with him. He wanted to come out and engage with us. And lastly, he said he was a supporter of Black Lives Matter, which I find that hard to believe, when you're calling them a mob. And we've been having protests throughout the weeks knowing it's due to Black Lives Matter. And I've donated to Donald Trump multiple times, and Donald Trump calls Black Lives Matter terrorists. So it has been untrue things from him, which he, has started all of this when he came outside pointing a loaded gun at nonviolent, unarmed protesters.
And his wife also.
And walked through their property as we were, because, we're used to, being antagonized. So we tell people, keep going. And they followed us through the yard to try to continue to put fuel on the fire.
So tell me, you don't have to do this. You've got a great upbringing. You have a wonderful family. You know a lot of people, but yet still there is Rasheen Aldridge leading protests there's a being involved, being engaged. Why? What drives you?
Yeah, even the protesters say we can't wait till we get some policy change where we don't have to be in the street. I think people think that we like to be in the street. We have families we have actions coming up all on a regular day, some on a weekend where we're taking time away from our loved ones, from our kids to be out there. And I continue to go out there because, honestly, Bernie, it's people like you, and it's people like so many others, Burka Guilty, that was out there and have been fighting for justice. And still, we have to continue to fight. But our elders have put in so much work, and that I feel like in these moments where there is injustice, silence is violence. And it'd be a shame of me to not continue to push all the hard work that our elders have been laying out for the last couple years, last couple generations and decades, not even years before I've been around. So it's an obligation and responsibility that I have to continue to make sure that, we fight back and push back so the next Rasheen or the next Cheyenne or the next Mike Brown, don't have to fight as hard as we are currently fighting in the world that we live in. So it's an obligation and responsibility I think that we all honestly should be taking and have to take, especially being people of color that have seen injustices, if it's been the Voting Rights Act, if it's been police brutality, if it's been redlining, and must continue to speak up to make sure that it doesn't stay the same and that things are different for our next future and our next generation. Okay.
We've got to take another short break here. Rasheen Aldridge, this representative from the 70th District of Missouri House, is my guest, and we'll be right back after this.
So many people need hope at this particular time. The coronavirus has destroyed hope in the lives of so many people. The ongoing reports of police brutality can wear a person down day after day, week after week. That's why I thank God for the Zaki Baruti show and Bernie Hayes shows and other shows that New Life Evangelistic Center is able to give you on NLEC TV or 24.2, but we must do even more. And that's why I thank God for their partnership, so together we can offer people direct help. Those that are homeless, a place to come and live. Those that are hungry, food. Those that need help on utility assistance, direct assistance. And all this is possible because of each one of you that are partnering with the New Life Evangelistic Center. You can do that by sharing your much-needed gift with New Life Evangelistic Center at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You give online at nlecstl.org. It's your partnership that makes it possible for New Life Evangelistic Center and its growing team of workers to be there when people are hurting. So join us in helping people be set free from the cycle of homelessness. Please share your much-needed gift now. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri.
We'll return to our guest after this Black History Moment. Today's subject, Dr. Benjamin E. Mays. He's remembered for his outstanding leadership and service as a teacher, preacher, mentor, scholar, author, and activist in the Civil Rights Movement. Born in 1894 near Epworth, South Carolina, he was a Phi Beta Kappa graduate at Bates College in Maine. Recruited by Morehouse President John Hope, Mays would join the faculty as a mathematics teacher and debate coach. In 1934, he was appointed Dean of the School of Religion at Howard University and served until 1940. He became president of Morehouse College in 1940 and launched a 27-year tenure that shepherded the institution into international prominence. One of Morehouse's most distinguished graduates, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., remembered Dr. Mays as his spiritual mentor and intellectual father. Upon his retirement, he served as president of the Atlanta Board of Education from 1970 to 1981. Dr. Benjamin Mays died in 1984. Benjamin E. Mays.
Now you can take NLEC TV anywhere as you put the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. NLEC TV is an innovative TV station that's on the cutting edge of community service. On NLEC TV, you'll discover wholesome family, community, renewable energy, and inspirational programming. Those needing energy assistance, food, clothing, or freedom from the cycle of homelessness will find that plus much more on NLEC TV. Now, you can receive NLEC TV by going to 24.2 on your television set or putting the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. For further information, call 314-436-2424 or go to nlecstl.org. That's nlecstl.org.
And welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Rasheen Aldridge. He is the representative from the Missouri 70th District in the House, Missouri House. And he's up for re-election. And Rasheen, once again, tell us the importance of you being re-elected.
Yeah, so it's important for me to be reelected because, I don't take my role as state representative as a joke. I take it as a real responsibility. You have somebody like me who's going to fight in the legislature, but also come back into the community and fight for the people. Somebody that has been once upon a time voiceless and not at the table, and see how when you are at the table, when you are able to provide resources, when you're able to fight back for your community and get things done, it does make a difference. My track record has shown that if it's been elected in the last couple years as state rep and committee man, I've been fighting on a day-to-day basis as far as trying to engage the community, get voter participation up. But even before that, because I don't want to be a career politician, I wanted to make a difference. And, God tapped me in this moment through politics. Who knows what's going to be next? But even before that, through my activism, I've shown that, the things that I've stood up for and when I took to the streets, it's always about the people first. I really want to see, communities like the 78th district, communities like the 79th district, communities like the 80th district, be able to have those same opportunities when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, when it comes to economics, when it comes to strong communities, being in that position to be a leader. And, we push buttons up there in Jeff City. It's a yes or no. And I'm not just a button pusher, but I'm somebody who actually get up and fight back and make sure that, there's a voice in that state rep district, an accountable voice and a transparent voice. So that's why I'm asking for people's support. August 4th to get reelected for a state representative, as well as the 5th Ward Committee man, because that is important when it comes to voter participation, which we help raise voter participation up in the 5th Ward over the last couple of years since I have been committee man. It hasn't been easy, but it has been worth it. It has been worth it.
Let's address homelessness. What will you do for the homeless?
So one thing I'm actually excited to do, I've actually been working with a lot of people on the ground. So our homeless outreach community, our critical care community, our recent mission camp community that has been helping individuals that have been putting up tents across our St. Louis areas, trying to figure out how do we come up with a homeless bill of rights. Because right now they don't have any rights. We know our homeless issue is a regional issue. And until we really address it, we're going to have people continue to be out on the streets, and we can't shame them for it. Some people don't want to move into shelter. It's not that easy. So we need to make sure that they have some type of rights. They are human. This is a humanity issue, so that they have rights and have a voice just like anybody else. So I'm excited to be sponsoring, as I work with the folks on the ground and the experts, some type of homeless bill of rights in the next session going up there to make sure that they have a voice as well, even though if they don't have shelter over their head.
Once again, how can we reach you and how can we help you?
So you can reach me at Rasheen, that's RASHEEN, last name Aldridge, ALDRIDGE. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on Twitter, Instagram. If you Google my name, you'll get sent to the Missouri House of Representatives webpage where you'll see my office number, also my office email, which you can email me, call me at any time. And if you would like to help out on the campaign, you can make a donation to the campaign just as small as $5. This is grassroots campaign. This is a people's campaign. You can go to my Facebook page, inbox me. If you like a yard sign, you live in the district, or you just want one for history, you can inbox me and we'll make sure we get that to you. And we don't take no one's support or even small donation for granted. We're very thankful for it and thank all the support and love that people give to the campaign.
I've been inviting you for so long, Rasheen, and I just want to say thank you for taking time to visit us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center and the Bernie Hayes Show. We've been friends for a long time, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you, how much I admire you, how much I adore you, how much I support you. Have a great day, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate our friendship as well.
Thank you. And we want to thank each and every one of you for supporting NLEC TV and the New Life Evangelistic Center. I'm Bernie Hayes. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe.